Welcome to the channel. Today I'm doing a ETF review. If you don't know Ray Dalio, he runs one of the largest hedge funds in the world, Bridgewater Associates, and he's known for the all-weather portfolio. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter inflation, recession, bull market, bear market, doesn't matter. Whatever's going on, the all-weather portfolio shelters you from the bad times, and it grows and does great in the good times. So I'm gonna go over this ETF today. It says forecast change. Your strategy doesn't have to. The Spider Bridgewater All-Weather ETF is the first and only ETF to bring Bridgewater's legendary all-weather approach to everyone. ALLW. So it says right now, share price NAV 2382. They have 141 million under management. Expense ratio is 0.85. And I believe it's pretty high like that because they're investing in a lot of different things globally. So you're paying for Ray Dalio, you're paying for Bridgewater. So it says the Spider Bridgewater All-Weather ETF is an actively managed, diversified global multi-asset allocation ETF that seeks to be resilient across a wide range of market conditions and environments, including economic contractions and elevated inflation. ALLW may invest across a range of global asset classes, such as domestic and international equities, nominal and inflation-linked bonds, and commodity exposures. ALLW is designed to balance assets with various sensitivities to key economic environments without predicting which environment is ahead, which means risk is allocated equally to different growth and inflation environments. ALLW uses Bridgewater's portfolio construction, expertise, and macro understanding of various market conditions to build and evolve the model portfolio. State Street Funds Management, Inc. then implements the model by purchasing and selling securities and/or instruments for the fund. The benchmark is the MSCI ACWI IMI index, is a free float adjusted market capitalization weighted index that is designed to measure the combined equity market performance of developed and emerging markets. The index covers approximately 99% of the global equity investment opportunity set. So we click on holdings. Look like they are holding the S&P 500, some treasuries, US dollars. It says it changes frequently. So this is the new fund. Like I said, 141 million under assets. I started a small position today, actually. April 14th, 2025, I started a small position. And I got in around $24.13, I think. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on it. I think they pay annually. I'm not sure. I couldn't find it on here. And that's kind of normal with international holdings. So this, yeah, distribution frequency annually. I'm okay with that. Being an income investor, this is going to be added to the portfolio as a hedge against my cover call ETFs and BDCs and tech and stuff like that. So I'm okay with getting paid once a year. This is kind of just to add growth to the income portfolio. Let's go back to this first screen. It says, now everyone can access Bridgewater's institutional grade approach in an easy to trade ETF going beyond traditional asset allocation. allw seeks to balance risk across growth and inflation environments to help prepare portfolios for whatever the future brings. Diversity differently. The traditional 60-40 portfolio may be less diversified than you think. With over 90% of portfolio risk driven by equities, allw diversifies across a broader range of assets, investing in domestic and international equities, nominal and inflation-protected bonds, and commodities. More resilient returns over time. allw aims to deliver stock-like returns and better protect against swings in economic growth and inflation by spreading risk across assets that historically perform well in different conditions. A proven approach in an ETF, allw is the first and only ETF to bring the legendary approach created by Bridgewater Associates to everyone in a single trade. allw brings Bridgewater all-weather wisdom to ETF investors. As economic growth and inflation winds change, allw is built to hold steady. Explore how this globally diverse ETF applies Bridgewater's storied approach to smooth volatility and reward long-term investors with more resilient returns. So let me know in the comments, does this sound like an ETF that you will hold in your portfolio? Do you know who Ray Dalio is from Bridgewater Associates? I think he started the all-weather portfolio back in 1996 for rich people, institutional investors. And I think around 2003 or so, he opened it up more to not, I won't say average Joe people, but he kind of opened it up more publicly. I think it just was his Bridgewater Associates that was just using a portfolio in the 90s. So I like to find investments that weren't available to common Joe, average Joe investors, and now you have access to those type of investments that the rich had already had. Similar to JEPI. Everybody loves the JEPI ETF. Well, there was a mutual fund that came out before JEPI. It's basically the same thing, but it was only for the wealthy. Only the wealthy people could invest in the original JEPI, the mutual fund. And it took some years or whatever, and they released the JEPI ETF for retail investors. So I just like to have access to what the wealthy institutional investors have access to. Stay tuned to my next ETF review because I found another ETF that's under the radar, and once again, it's something that's behind the scenes that institutional and wealthy people already know about, already invest in this market, and it's now available for retail investors like you and me. So stay tuned for that video. Thanks for watching.